when you watch it, you will see it a little bit different than Google Meet. I'm sure you saw it like that already. So what I did was my husband fixed OBS Studio for me, and last night I just did the class again, or a part of the class again, and I recorded it. Then I sent it as a private video. The reason why I send it as a private video is because I often talk about my husband or my kids or myself or things like that. And of course, I don't always wish to share that information with the world, and that is why it is a private video. But I sent the invitation to all of you, and I'm sure you would have gotten it by now. Did you all go and watch that video or not yet? Okay, let me quickly just show you. Here in stop motion, I just wrote a note to say that I made the video for you to watch, and it is an invitation that I sent via email. I didn't make it public, so I think some of the classes will not be public. And the reason why it's better to make it private is because sometimes I use software that I have downloaded that maybe or pictures or vectors or images or stuff that we use in our explanations, and it may be copyrighted. So just to protect ourselves as well from someone saying, "Oh, you are stealing the pictures from the internet" or something like that. So it's just a little bit safer. So this video was what we did yesterday, and I just want to quickly, I wonder if I just, let me stop sharing, and I just want to show you one other thing. What did I call it? 28 Feb, is that what I called it? It can be, I guess. Okay, yeah, so this is the one I did last night. Let me just share it with you guys quickly. I just want to mention one or two things before I start with the slides. Remember that I think this worked out quite well last night. When you play it, it actually looks like this little car is driving very nicely, and the balloon, I added a balloon afterwards to just show you. I also added that word to just show you that you can actually add stuff whenever you like, and it will appear on your screen at that exact moment. But if you add, for example, after I've made the presentation, I added this balloon to make it look like it is flying along. Okay, and I stopped somewhere. Where did I stop? I know I didn't go all the way because I just wanted to show you guys that you can do that. Now the same would apply for a word, a picture, anything like that. And if you go like that, you can actually see the way it is going if you roll the mouse scroller button. So there's just one thing I want to mention. When I made this video, and you would have seen it on my video that I made for you last night, it played quite well actually. But here and there in the as a video file, there were some green blotches and things like that. Now, the way to solve that problem is if you save it as a presentation. Look, if you want someone to watch the video, they're going to have to click on the play button anyway. So if you send it as a presentation, they have to click on the play button anyway as well. So the way you do that is you just say File, Export, and then you can just say, or is it save as? No, it's not save as. It is export, but you can actually create a video and you can save it as a presentation. Okay, just want to go back. So to make sure that it plays as a presentation, which it actually is already. So that would play it like you are viewing it, because what the person is actually viewing is then a presentation full screen, which looks like a total video anyway. So if you are trying to do the stop motion and you are getting the video with the green blotches, then you can just save it as a presentation, and that would actually be perfect as well. It would look like a stop motion video, and in fact it is a stop motion video. But I would like to know if you guys managed to get the video, if you created the video and it looks quite nice. So tell me when you're done. I would like to see or know if your video works nicely. I also want to know if maybe if I put this video, I'm going to try. If I put this video on the internet, this presentation video, I'll make it a private video and I'll share it with you guys and we can see if maybe it just looks like it on my screen, but when you actually play it in YouTube, maybe it's perfect. I don't know. I should have tried it last night. I was a bit tired. As you noticed, it was almost midnight when I sent you when I made that video. Load shedding is really messing us around big time. Okay, so I am recording this class as well, and I will put that on YouTube as well. So when I do that, I will just do the others as well. So for today, we are going to continue with our new slides. And it's not, these slides are quite nice because they work so well with what we were busy yesterday and the day before. We were busy with links and buttons and things like that. So this is going to add nicely to what we've done in the past 2 days. Okay. So the first thing that they talk about is page length, content placement, and usability. And if you look here, you will see this is basically how real simple something has laid out their page. And you will see this is their navigation, so all the buttons. This is their scroll bar. And when I look at Dr. Sutlev's page, I noticed that she has a massive long scroll bar, so you can scroll like a lot. It's not necessary. For me, it's nicer if I can see everything on my screen at the same time. And that is something I want you guys to also focus on mostly. Not to scroll like crazy, but rather make short, smaller tabs or more tabs, but keep your information more condensed and more together so that people don't have to scroll up and down all the time. All right. Here you can also see this person has a slideshow of articles. In other words, you can actually choose which one it is you wish to see. Now, let's say, for example, let's say this is your page, and here in the middle is your video that you made or your presentation. And in there, the people will see a little play button or a triangle. Then they will know they can press on that and they will be able to view this presentation, which will look as a video. You also don't have to put it on your home page. You can also put it on About Me or About Us or anywhere you like. Okay, so it doesn't matter. And of course, you can see it's balancing out quite nicely. You've got 3 columns and the first two or the first and third one is more or less the same and so on. This is in the center or across the screen. And when we start HTML, I'm gonna show you how to do that. Okay, so just saying quickly, next week in Somerset West, Monday and Tuesday, I'll start HTML, but I will also do it online for those of you who are not there. Okay, so the initial visible screen area is extremely valuable space, and that is the stuff we see when we go to a certain page. Place the most critical information above and to the left of the potential scroll zones. Okay, so above and to the left. So the most important stuff should be around this way. Okay, so the scroll bar is here, so to the left, which is basically everything. But as you can see, this guy has some advertisements or stuff going on here. So maybe it's a paid site, a sponsored site. Okay, avoid a cluttered appearance. I would say this looks a little bit cluttered to me, but I guess it's because of all the little boxes and things. It might look better if all the little things are gone. Eye tracking studies use various technologies to produce heat maps that represent data using color. Eye tracking heat maps are created by analyzing the movement of a visitor's eyes as he or she views a web page. So that is technology that is basically built into your computer or program, which where your eye goes, that is where it can track it. For example, if I look at the top left screen first, that program will say, okay, this visitor looked here first, then here, then here, then here, then here, and then they will compare it with a million other people. And if a million other people or almost a million other people has the same kind of eye tracking, then they will say, all right, so 99.9% of people will look at this corner first. 1% will look in the middle, and a third will look, or whatever is left will look over here. So eye tracking is like a study to help us determine where to put the most important information, or where a person will go and look first. Over the past several years, eye tracking studies suggest that a site's visitors typically look at the top and left areas of a page first, and then look down and right. So top left would be here. Oopsie. So top left would be around here, and then they look to the middle and to the right. So the most important information should then catch the eye over here. It can be a picture, or it can be a headline, whatever it is. Okay. When designing a web page, you need to decide how to manage page width. Okay, so you're going to have a fixed page width to make sure that one page is not this wide and the other one is only this wide. Okay, otherwise it's not going to look like a uniform thing. Liquid or flexible page layout or hybrid page layout. Okay, obviously you must decide which one it is you wish to do. Okay, for me I would say fixed would be the best, but of course that is just my preference. You guys can do whatever you like. Okay. We spoke a bit about navigation on Monday, so this is just that will add to what we've said. A navigation system that is easy for visitors to understand and follow will draw them deeper into your website to view detailed pages with content that can satisfy their needs and expectations. So you get a user-based navigation system and a user-controlled navigation system. Remember what we said on Monday, navigation is extremely important, and usually a person will, like we read in the Western world, will read from left to right, and that is how your button should also go. This is how it will go, the norm, well, we call it progression. So it will progress normally like this. Of course, I've never seen a Japanese site. I'm curious to see how they do it. Do they progress from the other side? Probably. All right, I've been to Japan. I think I've told you, but I didn't visit websites. I saw a lot of magazines, and they were upside down because, of course, they read from the back forward. Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, you get different kinds of links, and we also spoke about links on Monday. You get text links. Remember that I showed you? It's a word that is colored a different color. You get image links. For example, if you have a logo, or if you have, instead of saying next, you have the arrow that points to the right. That would also mean next. You can have a navigation area. You can have a breadcrumb trail, a website map, and a search capability. So we did speak about a search capability. That is the little box here in the right hand corner where you can search. It doesn't have to be in that corner. For Takealot, it's the whole top row almost in the middle where you can search. And what we also said, what's useful is having a search history where you can start typing something and the rest of the words will appear automatically. And that is how you will know that someone else has also searched what you are searching. It's useful. Okay, breadcrumb trail. This is basically the same as for the story of Hansel and Gretel. This is, for example, wherever you click, the color will change. So you can tell later on, for example, the road that you followed to a certain place. More or less the same. Obviously, a lot more complicated, but that is more or less the same. Okay, so let's first talk about text links. These are hyperlinks based on a word or words in HTML. We are going to do links next week or in the next week or two when we do HTML. You can also get an image link. Okay, this is just a picture that is coded as a link, and if you click on that picture, it will go, for example, the arrow. Okay. Then link types. You should group related links into a navigation area to create an eye-catching design element. And remember, the navigation menu or navigation bar is probably the one that is used the most. That is where you have your buttons or your navigation bar right at the top of your page, just below your logo and your name. And then, of course, they can have drop-down menus, but they don't have to have drop-down menus, but you can. And of course, navigation tabs, for example, arrows. Next, in the old days, I'm saying 20 years ago, so it was very common to have an arrow instead of well, you would click on the arrow if you want to go to another page. And if you look in on this side, and you guys won't see it now because you are looking at Google Meet, but when you watch this video, you will notice that there's also the back and forward button in the browser and the refresh button. This is also navigation buttons, but they're not words, they're just pictures. Okay, this is a plan a trip tab. Okay, and here is a pop-out menu. In other words, if you click on it, there's a little pop-out menu. I can't read, it's so very small, but all of these things are based, this is a drop-down menu from a tab. Okay, so these are all different navigation elements for Inked. Okay, this site. You can actually go to these sites if they still exist. They may have changed a lot though. Here we go. A breadcrumb trail is a hierarchical outline of horizontal list that shows a visitor the path he or she has taken from the home page to the currently viewed page. So it will show you exactly where you went from the beginning to the end on a specific page. And here is your breadcrumb trail. For example, you can't see this right now, but this also happens in when you buy clothes. Let's say, for example, you buy on Superbalist. You're looking for, let's say, women's stuff. So that will be your first one. Then you look for dresses. Okay, that will be your second link. Then you want formal wear. Okay, and then maybe sale or whatever it is. So the breadcrumb tells you, or the breadcrumb trail tells you, okay, you went here, then you went here, then you went here, and now you are here. So it's very easy for you to go back if you just want to go back one screen or two screens to know what you have been looking at. A website with a large number of pages and a complex structure often provides a website map, also called a website index. And this you often see, especially on, like you can see here on Apple, but you can also see this a lot on sites that has a lot to offer, and you will see everything that they offer like on one page. So it's just like an index. I can't see very clearly, but when you look at this at home, you can enlarge it to 200% or something, and maybe you will see what they are, the example. A website search feature, we also spoke about this on Monday, is another popular navigation tool. And like I said, you can have one. I think most have one. Even if you use templates, it's kind of built in there already. So it's very easy to have. A hosted website search provider is a third-party company that uses spiders or other tools to build a searchable index of your website's pages and then host the index on their servers. And remember, we did speak a little bit about spiders. They look for keywords in your page or on your website. And if you use one word a lot, then even though your website may say flowers, but if they pick up the word daisy more than the word flowers, then they're going to say, the spider is going to determine that your site is about daisies. So when someone enters daisy in the search engine, it will throw out your site as one of the possible things that the person might be looking for, even though your site is not really about daisies, it's about flowers. So spiders are little programs that you code into your website to make sure that they find the keywords. And there's ways of ensuring that they do. We're going to get to that later. Okay, here you get different kinds of link types. There's a search box over here. You all know how to use a search box. If you've been on any kind of website, you would have known how a search box works. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the look and the feel of a website. Now, just by looking at this website, I would say these people really hit a 6 when it comes to this background and this feel, look and feel. Because as you can see, it looks like ice or snow, and it looks very cold. And of course, the site is about ice cream. If you had to use another color like blue, like this is blue, but what if you use pink or green or whatever, it will not have had the same effect like blue, again, like ice or cold or whatever. And when I see the site in the summer, I almost feel instantly cooler. So the feeling and the mood of a website is extremely important. And it's like you can also see here, they're sticking to the color. They've got orange, blue, white, and green. and they use the same colors just in different tones, if I want to call it that, or a little bit different, a little bit darker green, a little bit lighter green, then like a little darker blue, then a little bit lighter blue, and so on. So it's very, very nice, this specific look and feel. So inconsistent appearances confuse visitors, so keep the theme going throughout your website. Color schemes create unity. Apply a color scheme to the background, graphic art and illustrations, and text across all pages. Choose background and text colors to provide sufficient contrast. Choose graphics that match your color scheme. I did speak about this before, but for example, I think I mentioned the Goth website that someone was created, and most of it is written in white on black. And although that is not really good practice for that specific website, it actually worked quite well. And the theme she took was actually the Gothic theme, the font, I mean. So everything worked out very well. It looked like those letters were dripping blood and spooky and everything like that. So depending on what it is you're going for or what your website is about, you can really go wild and do anything you like with the design. But as always, just remember that you're using a system font. Yeah, I don't know, probably Gothic is one of those fonts. Okay, so here you see color and visual contrast. The University of Kansas has this very nice color scheme. Okay, and you can see contrast, and you can see they always stick to the colors. And yeah, you can clearly say or tell that this person has selected this menu button because it changes color. Not only but the button, but also the word. So it's nice to know. And here, this is a link, obviously, but it's not a word, it's a little house. So this means home, and this means you can go back to the first page. This is a good idea, especially if you have a lot of menu buttons and you have limited space. So it's much easier to just have one little picture of a home, which is basically a symbol. Because if you had to write this word out, you would come here and everything would have to move up, move up, move up. So it's nice for space saving. Was a good idea. CSS and formatting. CSS specification allows web designers to use a text document called a style sheet, and this controls the appearance of the pages. And a style sheet means you can make sure that all your pages appear exactly the same way. And we're all going to do a little bit of CSS when we do HTML. Okay, I'm not going to focus too much on this today, but I just want to say, read it for you. You get inline style, internal style sheet, and an external style sheet. So the inline style is inserted with a tag. Then you also get internal style sheet, which is inserted within the heading tags. And then you also get a style sheet, which is a folder with the website's pages. And I'm thinking we're going to probably do a style sheet. Okay, because CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. But you can also code it into your code normally. Here's some code, as you can see, and the CSS indicates, like for example, font size, font color, font family, font style. And this is basically determining what will be the font for your whole website. And once you've done it one time, you can use the same font for all your pages, and that will create uniformity, which is vitally important. This is an example of an external style sheet, this is also quite a nice text editor. Changes the color of it. We are probably going to try and use Notepad, but I'm going to try and find a free one that is also this nice. Okay, sure. I think we can stop here because we're already halfway through, and it's basically a repeat of Monday's class. So let me just stop sharing. Okay, so those things are really, really important. And when you guys submit your home pages on Friday, I'm probably going to start seeing the color and the effect and things like that. Of course, just remember that I'm not looking for a designer document. I'm just going to show you. I did this before, but I'm just going to show you. So the example that I did with you in no, it's not this one. This one. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can just be as easy as this. Okay. You also don't need to have a logo yet. You can just write also logo, and this is where the logo will be. And I want you guys to you can add stuff. You will get extra points if you are thinking like completely out of the box, if you're bringing something to this table that I've not seen before, if you put in a lot of effort, all of those things will pay off quite a lot. This means if you do this exactly, I can tick all the boxes adequately, 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 adequately. Okay. But if you want to get like 100%, it will see you will see the words that says above or more than what was expected, better than what was expected, more creative, something original. Those are the words that will earn you 100%. So when you do this assignment, think of something that is just maybe a little bit more work, but it's going to earn you that 100%. And you can actually add a page here and write stuff down if you like. You can explain stuff, but that's not the actual work. This is what I want. Nothing is preventing you from adding little text boxes here with a little explanation if you like. Nothing is preventing you from writing it in the email. Anything is fine. And just remember that I postponed the date. I said that it can be 5 March, which is Sunday midnight. Hopefully by then I'll be in Somerset West and would like to see the stuff before class. For those of you who are still or are going to submit the other homework by Friday or have submitted it already, I will have a look at it before the weekend and give you my feedback. Alright guys, that is it from my side for today. So tomorrow I'm just going to do the few slides that we have left, and we can talk a little bit more about stop motion if you like, and you can also bring your questions if you have any, or if you want to show us what you've been working on in stop motion, that will also be great. I'm going to still type out the specific assignment for stop motion, but I'm quite busy this week, so maybe by the weekend I hope to do that. But other than that, that's all from my side for today. I hope you all have a lovely afternoon, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.